So for our first story, I mean, I y'all have heard about this. Y'all know what's going on. Well, I won't say you know what's going on, but y'all know about the situation at hand. Antonio Brown. I'll just leave it there for right now, and I'll just play the clips, and y'all can just take a listen for right now, and then I'll give you my opinion on it. Just very, very odd and strange, but just take a listen.
Very odd situation. Antonio Brown boiled over, very upset on the sideline, took off his shoulder pads. Mike Evans, O.J. Howard trying to convince him to keep them on. Obviously, they were unable to do so. He tossed his shoulder pads, stripped off his shirt and glove, threw those into the crowd, then ran across the field while the teams were still on the field, giving the crowd a peace out sign. I'll let you know when we hear something official on his step.
Understanding, Kay, of how this entire situation broke down. Midway through the game yesterday, Bruce Arians and the offensive staff told Antonio Brown to go into the game. They believed that he was healthy. Antonio Brown did not believe that he was healthy. He had been battling an ankle injury for the last several weeks, did not practice Thursday, did not practice Friday, and I know personally had some doubts whether or not he would be able to be out there and play. What he told the staff, from what I understand, is that he was not going into the game because in his mind, he did not feel he was healthy. The response then from the offensive coaches and from Bruce Arians was, if you are not going to go into the game, when we tell you to go into the game, then you cannot be here. At that point, they threw him off the sidelines and then cut him from the team. So Antonio Brown, which Bruce Arians announced at the post-game press conference, he is no longer part of the team. They essentially told him that on the sideline, send him packing, leading Antonio Brown with $1 million incentive right within his reach. He was going to get it. He left all of that, left the field, and now is no longer a member of the Buccaneers.
So, I mean, like I said, bro, it's just very strange, man. It really is. Like, I'm one of those guys that, for me personally, I already feel like bro got CTE. Already. So I'm going to just start there. I think bro has CTE. I know what I know about the situation. One, Bruce Arians didn't want him there from the beginning, because if you recall, when they were introducing Antonio Brown, or when the report came out that Antonio Brown was being signed to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if you recall, Bruce Arians was in the middle of a press conference and a reporter asked him about the problem, or asked him about the signing. And off rip, before he even got to Tampa Bay, the first thing that comes out of Bruce Arians' mouth is, if he makes one mistake, he's done. So off rip, we already know that Bruce Arians don't rock with bro. We already know that. Number two, we know the relationship that Tom Brady and Antonio Brown both have. We do. So maybe that was part of the reason why he didn't end up on waivers Tuesday afternoon or Tuesday morning, directly after Bruce Arians claimed that Antonio Brown would be kicked off or would be cut from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers organization. It's very strange, bro. And then we have, numerous differentiating stories. We got AB saying that he was hurt, We had one of the women that, I guess he had a romantic relationship with or whatever the night before, coming out and said that he told her, watch what I do tomorrow. We had the report that it was based on because of the incentives, that they weren't feeding him the ball enough. That's why he spazzed out. Then there was another report that came at halftime that he was, not happy because he wasn't getting the targets that he was planning on getting for that day to hit his incentive mark. It's just a lot of stuff, bro. A lot of differentiating stories, a lot of stuff left to uncover, a lot of stuff that people won't know unless you're in the locker room. But it's very strange. It really, really is. I sympathize with the guy. I had a relatively heated debate, so to speak. I won't even necessarily say heated. But, me and my uncle, we shared our opinions together on Antonio Brown. and his situation. He's on one end of the spectrum where, he feels like he's a diva. Antonio Brown feels like he's bigger than the game, quote from his mouth, and all of this stuff. But for me, I'm not that guy, man. I sympathize with Antonio Brown. I feel like everywhere he's gone, since he left Pittsburgh, I feel like it's been one of those things where people have just been waiting for him to make one mistake and they're just going to cut him loose. I do. Now, with that being said, has Antonio Brown given a lot of these organizations every bit of a reason to part ways with him? Absolutely. So don't think that fact is not lost upon me. I'm aware of that. But at the same time, I think that the guy's really misunderstood. Again, I feel as though he has CTE. I really, really do. I really do. And I'm ready for us as a society, specifically in the NFL community. I'm ready for us to get to a point where we can identify and diagnose these guys before, unfortunately they pass away. I'm ready to get to that point. I really am, because I feel like if you did a test on a lot of these guys and you had the ability to identify that disease ahead of time, then maybe we could understand where they come from. Maybe we can understand when we see these guys have, these episodes, so to speak, on the sideline, when it just seems like a random outburst, but really they just don't have any other way to express themselves. Because I genuinely believe, I'm going to say it again, I genuinely believe Antonio Brown has CTE. I really do. I really do. God, honest truth. Like, this shit is not a joke. It's not like, I'm not joking about it. I'm not giving the guy a pass, whatever may have you. I'm not doing any of that stuff. I really believe that that's what he's dealing with. I do. Now, if we look at it from the other perspective, where maybe he just feels like he's bigger than the game or whatever may have you, bro, we've seen this situation so many times. And maybe he doesn't have CTE. Maybe I'm tripping. I could be. I don't believe that I am, but it's very possible that I am. There's nothing that's proven that Antonio Brown has CTE. But maybe Antonio Brown was just standing up for what he felt was right. Oh, you don't want to give me the ball when I'm owed $1 million? If I hit my 8 more catches, if I get my however many amount of yards, if I get in the end zone again? Why? So you can save the organization money? An owner money? An owner that makes billions and billions and billions of dollars off of, these athletes that risk their body and their health and their sanity week in and week out. That's why we're not getting me the ball, to save him money. So maybe Antonio Brown did have a moment where he felt like he was quote unquote bigger than the game. Wouldn't you? If somebody was trying to take $1 million off of your plate after having to fight all of these allegations, having to fight all of these lawyer fees, the situation with his kid's mom, things of that nature, wouldn't you feel a certain type of way? Because any regular human being would. I know I would. And I'm the type nigga, really. I'm like AB. Oh, so y'all gonna try to hold me? Okay, I can show you better than I can tell you. I'll show you better than I can tell you. Peace. Cut me. I don't give a fuck. And then when you do try to cut me, I'm going to my lawyers and I'm releasing all of the evidence that I had to show y'all that I told y'all, or whatever may have you, that I wasn't 100% ready to go. And off rip, I was already risking my body for this game today. And again, if it is the case, if the case is, Antonio Brown was healthy, Antonio Brown was hurt, and he's still strapped up and padded up and was able to play a whole half of football, that speaks volumes in itself. Because the reports that are coming out based on AB from his mouth is that he has torn ligaments in his ankle. He has partially broken bones that keep stabbing him in his fucking skin. So then I'm just circled back to the point that it's just one of those things where how can you feel like Antonio Brown is bigger than the game? Or let me reword that. How can you feel as though Antonio Brown feels like he's bigger than the game? How can you, bro? If this report is true and his ankle is really as fucked up as he's saying it is, how can you feel like Antonio Brown is making himself bigger than the game? How can you feel that way? You can't. Realistically, if you just sit back and think about the situation as a whole. Now let me pause myself right here and say, could Antonio Brown have handled the situation better? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I know that every day in my life, maybe not every day, but I know very often in my life, I'll do something or I'll say something or I'll go about an issue a certain way. And when it first arises, I may handle it however I handle it. And then when I sit back and I think about it after, the dust has settled, so to speak, I sit back and I think about it and I just say, maybe I could have handled that a bit differently. So could Antonio Brown have handled that situation a bit differently? Absolutely. Absolutely. But in that same respect, don't keep trying to paint this guy like a fool or idiot. And I see people and I even went on Twitter. I had to go to Twitter, but just so I could get my opinion out, so to speak. I see people laughing and joking and shit, and I'm like, bro, this isn't a joking matter, bro. It's really not. God honest truth isn't, because if you look at it, whatever story you believe, I personally believe he has CTE. So when I see these random outbreaks and things of that nature, I don't believe that, it's for no reason or because he feels as though he's bigger than the game. I don't feel that way. I feel like it's something that's out of his control. And I don't believe that Antonio Brown knows how to handle that. Just like everybody else, God rest their souls, hasn't been able to handle that. But one way. It's unfortunate, but let's have a real conversation. So that's one way. How can Antonio Brown be this clown, be this bad guy that y'all keep trying to portray him to be if he's dealing with that? Question number 2, how can Antonio Brown be this clown, this bad guy that y'all keep trying to paint him to be if his ankle is fucked up and he feels like he can't give no more at this very moment? He feels like he wants to prolong his career. We've seen Antonio Brown play at a high level week in and week out this season when he's been healthy and ready to go. We know that he's not just making an ankle injury up. Now, the severity of it, nobody knows but the team doctors and Antonio Brown himself. And even then, the team doctor is never necessarily going to be 100% transparent with the public, nor sometimes with the player. We've seen that instance happen before. So if that is the case and the severity of this injury is what Antonio Brown says it is, how can he be the bad guy? How can he be the bad guy? How can he be a clown? Because he can't go. He really can't go. How can he be the bad guy if he's, a certain amount of stats away from receiving $1 million in which he's owed, in which if you didn't want this guy to come in making that amount of money, you shouldn't have put it in the contract. But again, these coaches and these owners and these GMs, they do slick shit like that. Where, we'll put this in the contract, but me as a GM, here's the contract. I'm coming to you from a GM perspective to the head coach. Bro, let's make sure that this nigga does not get this amount of catches, this amount of yards, and this amount of touchdowns, so we don't have to pay him this money. So we can pay that money to somebody else. So again, if it was incentive-based, if this episode was incentive-based, how can he be a clown? Again, I've acknowledged already that, yes, Antonio Brown could have handled the situation better. I understand that. We get that. We know. Yes, he could have handled the situation better. But how can he be a clown if it's based on incentive? How can in any of those 3 situations, CTE, the serious ankle injury, or incentive-based, how can he be a clown in any of those situations? You tell me. Why? Because he did some shit we've never seen before? Okay, yeah, I guess, again, he could have handled the situation better. Yeah, he could have. He could have. But maybe he was just making a statement. Maybe he was just letting young guys know, listen, if they try to play you, then you let them know what type of energy you want. Because all of these owners and GMs and coaches, they feel as though all of these guys are replaceable. And when you're a once-in-a-generational talent like Antonio Brown on some real shit, you not replaceable, bro. You're not. There's only a few guys in the history of the NFL that have been able to do what Antonio Brown has done in his career. The top 1% of the top 1% have been able to do what Antonio Brown has done in his career. So yeah, if you want to play me and try to like shit on my name, if you ain't trying to pay me my money, it's okay. I know how to handle it. I know how to handle it. So I don't know, bro. All I know is that what I really do feel is that Antonio Brown is dealing with CTE. Again, I'm going to say it. That's what I feel. That's what I think. It's not proven. But I'm telling you that's how I feel. I feel as though he's dealing with CTE. I feel like his ankle injury is very severe. And I'm going based on what this long statement that Antonio Brown released, or that Antonio Brown's lawyer released on his behalf last night around 8:30, 9 o'clock. So yeah, I believe that. I believe he has CTE. I believe the ankle injury is a lot more severe than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have let on. And then that's a deeper, darker. Because why do you continue, if you're the NFL and you're personnel within the NFL organization, why do you continue to put these guys in situations when you know they're not 100% ready to go? It's bullshit. It's bullshit. And then what does sports media do? Without knowing, you know, all of the details behind the situation, without knowing what's actually going on, what does sports media do? Michael Strahan, them niggas on Fox, they laughing and joking, you know, playing around, joking on them. Twitter, the internet, joking around, fucking with them. ESPN, that's all they can talk about for the next 48 hours. But that's what they do, bro. Like I said, it's bullshit. It is. It really, really is. God, honest truth. And it's really just that simple. It's bullshit. Let the story play out. Get all of the information. Because if it comes out, and this is why I hate the modern society that we live in. Because when we get older, and Antonio Brown is not here anymore with us, and they do a test on his brain, and that shit comes back and says he has CTE, then y'all gonna be all, you know, tear face emoji, rip Antonio, rip AB, all of this fuck shit. But that's what modern society is. That's what we do. Matter of fact, that's what y'all do, because I don't do fake shit. That's what y'all do. It's bullshit. It is. Let's move on. Young Mason, he told me to run it. Hey, I'm like, hold up. I'm flexing, they saying I glowed up. Put a perky inside of my cola. Hotline blinking, no Motorola. Like, wait, it's deuce. I got the sauce. I'm lit forever. Ay, my money counter sitting on my dresser.